During the Biden administration's 2021 Afghanistan withdrawal, the CIA struck a secret deal to evacuate and resettle over 85,000 Afghans, including members of its elite Zero Units paramilitary force, with little to no vetting.
John Solomon at Just the News just published an article that the Afghan assassin who shot the two National Guard members was brought over as part of a secret deal negotiated between the CIA under Joe Biden and the Afghan special forces who had been working with the CIA on the ground as part of the counterinsurgency against the Taliban. So this means not only was the Afghan refugee who did this working with the CIA on the ground, but in fact, the whole reason he is here is because of a negotiated agreement between the CIA and those Afghan militia and special forces folks who were assisting the CIA. And this is not an unusual thing.
Analyst Mike Benz revealed this was part of a deliberate strategy treating mass immigration as a remittance pipeline to fund CIA-backed militias abroad using U.S. taxpayer dollars sent home by evacuees.
In fact, it's so common that I think its impact has to be assessed and frankly declassified as to whether or not the CIA has reached such agreements, for example, with fighters in Somalia, whether the CIA has reached such agreements for resettlement and refugee status in Iraq, in Haiti, in you name it, you name your combat zone, and how much of U.S. refugee programs, these kind of negotiated agreements between military and intelligence and the refugees are in our whole system?
Well, first, I would say we have a stringent vetting process, which includes background checks before any individual comes to the United States. So I can't speak to one individual, but I can tell you and confirm for you that we take the vetting of any individual who comes to the United States and comes out incredibly seriously.
The extraordinary success of this mission was due to the incredible skill, bravery, and selfless courage of the United States military and our diplomats and intelligence professionals.
Regardless of the BS Biden fed all of us, standard security screenings were deliberately bypassed for these CIA-trained fighters, many of whom suffered severe PTSD and harbored resentment over the debacle of the U.S. abandonment of Kabul on Biden's watch.
When they land, if they choose not to go to the military base and to walk, they're able to do that.
They must receive, for example, certain immunizations in order to enter the interior of the United States.
Well, but my point is, we don't have a system in place to keep people who want to walk. Now, the other question is, who are these people? And as I said, 75% of them are not green card holders, they're not citizens, they're not SIV holders, they're not even applicants for SIV. And this notion that they've been vetted as we would normally vet, I mean, how can we vet people? Are you going to call the Taliban government and say, you know, is this information about this criminal record accurate? Of course we can't. Normally we would be able to contact the government. Of course, we didn't have an embassy because we had evacuated it. So we didn't go through the normal screening. To Director Abbott said your answer earlier, we didn't go through the normal screening process that you would for someone applying for a visa. You couldn't because we didn't have the visa officials in the foreign office there to do it. So
Lackenwall was resettled in Bellingham, Washington in late 2021 under the U.S. government's Operation Allies Welcome Program. He arrived with his wife and 5 young sons on humanitarian parole, was initially hosted for 2 months by local private sponsors Stanley and Valerie Creighton, who raised money for the family via a now-deleted GoFundMe, and received 90-day resettlement assistance from World Relief and longer-term case management from the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. Over 76,000 Afghan individuals arrived via humanitarian parole, with an additional 114,000 resettled through the follow-up on Operating Enduring Welcome from 2022 to 2025. for a combined total of nearly 190,000 Afghans nationwide. According to declassified reports, former officials, and on-the-ground journalism, approximately 10,000 paramilitary Zero Units members who were directly created, funded, trained, equipped, and often directed by the CIA, plus thousands of their family members, were evacuated and resettled in the United States by late 2021. The damning mockery has reached its zenith. An administration that imported battle-hardened foreign fighters while lecturing U.S. soldiers about extremism and sedition has turned national security into a cruel joke.
The Department of Justice on Tuesday charged an Afghan national with conspiring to carry out a terror attack on Election Day. In a statement, Attorney General Merrick Garland says, quote, the Justice Department foiled the defendant's plot to acquire semi-automatic weapons and commit a violent attack in the name of ISIS.
The day after taking office, the newly confirmed Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, Colin Powell, wrote to the members of this committee essentially stating that President Biden was smarter than Congress, was confident he had all the angles covered, and believed it was not in the national interest to provide Congress with the assurances required in Section 1215.
The same government that left billions in weapons to the Taliban also, without a doubt, delivered trained killers to American soil. John Bound reporting for InfoWars.
Feel the unstoppable.
Give me a second. Welcome to the show. It's December 5th, 2025, Friday Night Live. Just give me a second. I gotta take care of something I totally forgot to do, and so I'm gonna take care of it real quick. Then we're gonna get started. Please forgive me for my I totally slipped my mind. I got to get Rumble on here. I mean, Rumble's live, but I want to make sure that they know that it's the right broadcast. So it just takes a second. I kind of got this thing figured out, sort of, right? That's how we do it around here. All right, we're good. All right, so thank you for giving me a little bit of break on that. So excuse me. So what do we got? What do we have tonight? What do we have? Let's say. Well, we're going to start with. I'm going to start with a little fun. Got to get a little fun going because it's been so serious lately. It's just really time to, have a little bit of fun before we get into the seriousness. But really, when you think about it, this is crazy what's going on. And let me just break it down. We're in a color revolution. We know that where, everything they do against you, and they say that it's you that's doing it, but it's them. We know that that's been going on for a while, and we're going to get into a little bit of that. And how they manipulate everything, COVID, everything. They manipulate everything, and they make you to be the bad person in all of it, even though it's them that's created all of it. But they swear that, they go on the MSNBC or wherever, or MSM, and tell the whole world that it's you, but in actuality, you're standing there going, "What in the hell's going on?" It's always been you. So we got that. We have President Trump received a peace prize. Haven't done a lot of research on it, but we do have that. But Kyle Seraphin and Steve Friend was on the stream this morning about the pipe bomb. We're going to cover a little bit of that because I think what they're talking about is pretty relevant. And you got Ivan Raiklan with Alex Jones today outside of the courthouse where the pipe bomber, the alleged pipe bomber, was arraigned today, but for some reason they didn't arraign him, or they slid him in or out the back door, whatever, how they do it. This Justice Department does this weird stuff where, it doesn't get any, you don't know what they're doing. And we got that. And then we're going to cover that stuff. And we're going to also cover this Candace Owens thing. So this today, when I got home from doing my thing, I was sitting down. I sat down for like 10 minutes and I opened up X, and every post was from these so-called MAGA people um, saying that Candace Owens crazy, Candace Owens lost her mind, all this stuff. And then you go in the comment section, and everybody in the comment section is like, I stand with Candace Owens because what she's saying makes a complete sense, and everything that we've been told has been a lie, and it's all fabrication. It's all everything that's going on is like two-way mirrors everywhere, and they don't tell you the truth about anything. I mean, we could go through it: pipe bomb, COVID. I mean, um, impeachments. Uh, all of it, all of it. Voting. Uh, all of it's fake. Like Candace says, it's fake and gay. Anyway, we're going to cover that. We're going to cover what the response was to TPUSA saying that they're going to host a broadcast, live stream to counter everything that Candace has said about everything that's happened since Charlie Kirk's death and how they've been hiding stuff or whatever that is. And from what it looks like, from you be the judge, it sounds like they were trying to slide one in on her before she could see it or something. Gave her 24 hours to respond. They sent the tech the what do what do you call a Twitter thread? Uh, you know, uh, a an X thread at midnight. Gave her 24 hours to respond, and then when she was like, "What do you mean you're going to do it next week?" You know, and you're not even going to give me an opportunity to like, "Hey, how about what day works?" No, you're going to just pick it and tell me I have to be in person. The whole thing. We're going to cover it. Candace breaks it down really well. And so I pulled that. We're gonna look at that. Do a little flashback of Charlie Kirk and Candace because there's all this propaganda going around that Candace was not friends with Charlie and all that stuff. So we're gonna show you that, and then 92,000 pounds of drugs seized and automatic weapons. We're gonna cover that just because I thought that caught my eye, that 92,000 pounds of, and it's not like heroin, but they're saying that it's something, it's a, so kratom is a thing that they have, that a lot of people take kratom in lieu of opiates, pain pills that the doctor gives you and all that stuff. So people take kratom, but now I guess there's a synthetic 7O that they're pulling from the kratom and mixing something else with it in pill form that is like a heavy duty drug. I didn't know. I've never heard of it. I never heard about it, but I'm going to show you what the cops are saying, and it's remarkable how this 26-year-old had all that. He had a 50 cal, all kinds of weapons and all this stuff. I'm going to show you that, and then again, Trump gets a Fife Peace Prize for 2025. So, I mean, I guess he's worked pretty hard at the Peace Prize part. I wish he would work a little bit harder at a few other things, but I think he's getting it. I think he is. I think he's like climbing a hill with concrete shoes on. That's what I think's going on, because at every move Trump takes, he gets knocked down a peg or drugged down or blocked or whatever. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into that stuff tonight. We are going to get into this stuff right now. We're going to start with I got two videos that we're going to start with. These are just like a little fun, get started, little fun thing. Um, and then we'll get into the important stuff. Uh, But this is pretty good when you think about it, because the next topic, this goes right with the next topic. But let's do FBI's first. Stand by.
Yeah, honey, my baby, all into me, yeah, I'm in that all to me, yeah, ay. Welcome to my FBI's, a flippy eyeball surprise. I'm focused on catching bad guys, just fly in the friendly skies. Don't be staring in my FBI's. I fired all the talented guys, whip by my honey pot pies, tweeting to the bureau surprises. An agency oh so rash, investigating outcomes last, announcing things real fast. That's my style, I'm Director Cash. Look into my FBI's, black leather on my wee little thighs. Nookie as a mic, got Jeff jet flies, loyalty to just one guy. Look into my FBI's, crooked like most wanted guys, tiny like pocket size, hiding all the Epstein files. Yo, come and get on this private jet to a big event to see his girl set. Taxpayers lament, but she hot baby bad. She do not fret that his eyes be bent. He's chopped and cuffed, was locker stuff. Ain't calling Trump's bluffs, cause he gives him stuff. If he sound in a huff and you done had enough, then he say that's tough, he's about to get rough. Welcome to my FBI. My list of foes down inside. Some stopping bad terrorist guys. None arrested, so maybe it's lies. Don't be mad at how I downsize. Had to snuff out some liberal spies. Now my caviar is always supplied, and all my people pray that I'm fired. Look into my FBI's, black leather on my wee little thighs. Nookie is my Issa, Kev jet flies, loyalty to just one guy. Look into my FBI's, crooked like most wanted guys, tiny like diamonds, pocket size, hiding all the Epstein files. Yeah,
I really hate that saying.
AI is something.
How did we get here?
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
We're in a war right now, so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
You can only push people so far, and then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
They're a threat to our very democracy. They refuse to accept the will of the people.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
We are at war! We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Go and take Trump out tonight.
Yes, I am a better person than you for celebrating the death of a Nazi.
And so we need to get the wife too. Fuck her.
You don't have to like violence, but I'm confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
Go ahead and Google Charlie Kirk. Go ahead, read the latest headlines.
And that's why we are here right now.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting how you can take the Democrats' own words and turn it into something like that. You know what I mean? It just is, it's remarkable. It is very remarkable. All right, so let's get serious. All right, stand by. Color Revolution, right? We know about this, right? Let's get into this.
You've now probably heard political experts over and over refer to the fact that what we're witnessing is a color revolution, and they're right. And let me explain why. A color revolution is a communist globalist playbook to take over a country without tanks actually rolling down Main Street. It's how they flipped places like Serbia, Georgia, Ukraine, and they tried to flip a dozen others. The same exact playbook every single time. This is how they do it. One, they demonize the leader of the people who they actually voted for. Two, they flood the country with chaos like riots, open borders, economic pain. Three, they weaponize the courts, the media, and big tech to finish him off. And four, they install a puppet who sells the country out to China and the UN. And that's not theory, that's the manual. They opened it on us in the United States the day Donald Trump won in 2016. And here's how they ran it on us step by step. From 2016 to 2020, they gave us the Russia collusion hoax, FBI spying, 2 fake impeachments, Antifa burning cities while CNN called it fiery but mostly peaceful. And the goal was to make you hate the guy you voted for. In 2020, we had 2 a.m. ballot dumps, boarded up windows, 51 intel agents lying about Hunter's laptop, Zuckerberg dropping $400 million to help count votes in Democrat cities. And the goal there was to steal the election while calling you a conspiracy theorist for noticing. From 2021 to 2024, we had Joe Biden opening the border on day one, 12 million plus illegals, military-age men from China and Venezuela and all over the world, free flights, free hotels, free EBT cards, all on your dime. Cities collapse, crime explodes, schools and hospitals break. The goal, to make Americans feel like strangers in their own country. Then from 2021 to 2025, 91 felony charges, Mar-a-Lago raided, gag orders, mug shots. They didn't want to just beat Trump. They wanted to break him and every future patriot who dares to run. Look at what they did to Charlie Kirk. That is a textbook color revolution. But on November 5th, 2024, the American people looked this Marxist coup dead in the eye and said, not today. 312 electoral votes, popular vote landslide, the biggest Hispanic and Black Republican turnout ever. We pulled off the greatest peaceful counter-revolution in world history. But the deep state isn't done. The same snakes who funded BLM riots, Ukraine coup, and Arab Spring still sit in the FBI, CIA, big tech, and the universities. They'll try again in 2026 or in 2028, but now you know the game. Every time you see another mostly peaceful riot, sudden experts all using the same scripted words, a new crisis 2 weeks before an election, you're watching the Color Revolution playbook live on American soil. Never forget what they tried to do to us. Back mass deportations. If we have no border, we have no country. Protect every America First fighter willing to swing the axe on the swamp. Teach your kids the truth. Communism didn't die in 1991. It just died a tear purple and moved to Washington. This is still the United States of America. We are still the home of the brave, and the brave do not bow to color revolutions. Recognize what is happening, stare it in the face, speak out against it, and then we finish taking our country back, one closed border, one drained swamp, and one restored republic at a time. We need to support our president in taking all necessary measures to do just that. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, that says it right there in 3.5 minutes. I mean, you can't get much better than what the way she puts it out right there, Michelle Maxwell. When I think about what's going on, because I was in, the truth is, and we've talked about this 100 times, maybe longer, more. In 2020, when I looked up and seen what was going on, when I pulled my head out of the sand and I started paying attention to what was going on, I was going through shock. I was in culture shock. There's a lot of people that have had this same story play out in their life where, you know, just out doing my thing, taking care of kids, raising a family, making sure my wife had whatever she needed, working on my house, building things, doing stuff, just, living, the best American dream as I could while all the stuff is going on around me that I didn't even see. I really had no idea. I didn't know how bad elections were. I didn't know how bad the government really was. I mean, I knew on some level how bad it was, but not to the extent of when I looked around and seen what was going on. I was like, what in the hell is all this going on? What is this transgender in schools and these fat dudes with makeup on? I mean, what's going on here? Like, where did this come from? And then when I started doing the research to find out that this was like an Obama plan, and he created this ISIS K thing and the transgender and the this color revolution started way back then, where they tell you what they're doing and they say it's you doing it. This is the whole thing. And when I seen it, I was like, what in the hell's going on? And I work 50, 60 hours a week taking care of my family, because you can't work a 40-hour a week job and live. You know what I mean? Especially in California. So you have to work as much as you can. And I was doing, 50, 60, 65 hours a week. And so I couldn't like go down to the Capitol and do the protesting thing or whatever. So I couldn't do that. And, Alex Jones was talking about, um, you know, you got to get involved at some level, and that's how I ended up doing the show. I started putting things together and getting help from people that knew how to work computers and do all that stuff, and I've literally built this from an idea, and that's why I'm here. So please support us any way you can. It's really appreciated, because I really am planning on turning this into a media operation that has multiple hosts and all that stuff in the next 5 years. That's my plan. So, um, but that's not my point. My point really is, when I found out what was going on, much like a lot of you, as you woke up and you seen what was going on, what they were doing to our kids, how they were poisoning us, the tap water, the food, all the different things that they have done, whoever they is, right? The globalists, the government, the whoever. When I realized what was going on, I didn't know what to call it. I had no idea what I just called it corruption. I called it, the crazy Democratic Party. Then I realized that it wasn't the Democratic Party, it was the politicians in government, because it's on both sides. It's not the Republicans, it's not the Democrats, it's all of them, except for a very small portion of people that usually get run out of government when they don't play ball. And that's the truth. Like, you see these people that are leaving office, they left office, or they're leaving office because they just there's you're it's a beast. You're fighting against the beast, and the beast is big. You know what I mean? It's hard to get past all of the corruption. They just bury you, they bankrupt you. Look what they've done to all these people that they've made. They've constantly sued them and took all their stuff, just everything, right? It's called Color Revolution, and I'm like, oh, makes complete sense now. Um, so if you're like me and you're new and you're realizing this and you're like, what can I do? There's a lot that you can do. There really is. You can let your voices be heard. You can create a station, a channel, a podcast, a show, 30-second clips on TikTok or wherever, Instagram or whatever. But you got to let your voice be heard, because when we speak out, all the way to when we let Trump know what we don't like about what he does, he really does listen to the people. Long as it gets to him, he usually makes the right decision. Once he knows that that's not what the people want, once it gets to his desk, then he really does change course. And there's all the people out here on the internet that are like, oh, he's part of that, and all that stuff. I got it. I get the black pill. I get it. I totally do. I get it. Sometimes I get in that place to where I'm just like, you know what? There's no hope at all. Everything that we do is just lost. I mean, best thing to do is grab your kids, get up on a mountainside, on 5 acres, build your own everything, have your own food in the coming out of the ground, and just unplug from this chaotic world. You can't do that. Not really. our kids, we got kids, we got wives, we have families, we have jobs, we have all this stuff. So you can't really just completely unplug. So you got to just do your best to do your part to change what is going on. And I believe that we're winning. It doesn't always look that way. When you look at Cash Patel and Bongino, they're supposed to be the two best FBI agents or FBI director and whatever in the, ever, and the FBI and all this stuff, and they just the way they just lie to you and compromise, whatever it is, it gets discouraging. But I really believe that if we continue to pound on the table and tell Trump what we want instead of what all this bullshit that's going on, I really believe that it's going to turn around. And so I say that to maybe bring some hope to the person that is maybe you are black pilled and you just think it's everybody's corrupt and nobody's good. It's a hell of a way to be in society. It just is. It doesn't work. So, I mean, if that's how you're going to be, that's great. I hope you're wrong, you know. And if you're right, well, I'll be the first to tell you, man, I should have listened to you. But for right now, I'm going to have optimism. I'm going to keep optimism in my life, and I'm going to keep giving every part of my life to God first, and do this everything that I can to make a difference. So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully, you follow that path instead of the, what was that? What was it called? Eeyore. We're doomed, right? We're all doomed. Anyway, let's get into this. One of the reasons why I say this is because this is what I believe. I believe that there's hope. And the reason why I believe that there's hope is because there's people out there that are starting to raise their voice and say, hey, we need to do something. Here's a prime example. I don't know. I've seen this guy's I think he's got a show. I'm not sure, X or whatever, but I think he has something going on. But, he sounds like his voice is getting louder and louder about what's happening with this administration. And rightfully so. I really get it that we need to, what is going on. We haven't had any arrests. The Democrats, as soon as they got in office, they started putting people in prison, right? And that we're not even guilty of anything. So I agree that more needs to happen. But let's listen to what this dude says, and then we're going to get into the pipe bomb story stuff. But I want to give everybody, you fucking asshole. I gotta hold on a second. My every now and then it does this thing where it locks up, then I have to reset it. So let me reset it here. Okay. All right. Let's do this. All right, here we go.
You might want to turn your volume down because I'm about to cuss a lot. But what I'm about to say, I know millions of Americans feel this way. But this message goes out to President Trump, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, GOP, the Republican Party. What the fuck is taking so long? You're about to complete your first year and no one has been held accountable of weaponizing the DOJ, the fraud that's been exposed, USAID and all that NGO money, the illegal immigrants who were flown to America on US taxpaying dollars, the motherfuckers from Afghanistan sent here who just killed our National Guard. No one has been held fucking accountable yet. And we're getting sick and fucking tired of waiting for accountability. And I don't want to hear that bullshit. Lou, trust the process. It takes time to build a case. No, fuck that. You're in your first year. We know what you know, and we've been calling this shit out for years now. And no one has been held accountable. Not Obama, not Biden, not Clapper, not Brennan, not Comey, not Pelosi. And we've known about this for years. And we're getting sick and tired of fucking waiting. We fought day in and day out the last 10 years with our hands tied behind our fucking back, bringing the truth to these stupid ass Americans who believe the bullshit from the left. We got you in that seat. We got them appointed, and then we got the GOP elected. While we were down and they were trying to lock President Trump up, they kept kicking us while we were down. Why in the fuck is the right or you guys giving these fucking people the kid gloves? Why are y'all being nice to these fucking people? Because they weren't nice to us. To this day, they're still not nice to us. They killed Charlie Kirk, motherfuckers. They try to take out President Trump. What the fuck are you waiting for?
Yeah, so rightfully so. I agree with that. I mean, I do. I absolutely agree that something needs to be done. We need action. Now, I can tell you that there's a few things that's getting ready to happen. Um, Dominion voting has been exposed. How the whole thing around how it came about. We covered it last week, last week we covered it. There are things happening, but these corrupt politicians and three-letter agencies and all that stuff, like the truth is that they should have been gutted, and we should have just taken out the FBI. Like 5 tiers of the FBI should have been fired, and then we should have put our own people in. We should have put the people in that got fired for not bending the knee during the whole COVID scam thing. But of course, we didn't do anything. And now the FBI is part of the new FBI. Bongino and Castel are part of the problem now. I mean, it's clear. I mean, we're going to get into it here in a little bit, but when you look at it, you're just like, that makes no sense. I mean, I thought these dudes were on all these, Bongino especially was on podcasts talking about how they're corruption and, they're all frauds and, they're all lying to us and all that stuff. And then now he's like, no, the Epstein files, he never sold any kids or whatever the hell he says. I mean, it's crazy. So I agree. 100% I agree with that. So we'll see. That's all I could say. We'll see what happens. But I tell you, people are getting tired of it. All right, stand by.
And the neighbors can eyeball it and go, not it. You picked the wrong thing. Anyway, what's wild to me is that I keep thinking that they're trying to pull off old information with stuff that we know better. It's like the same kind of things. Like if we just do enough bravado and braggadocious nonsense, if we just do enough Fox News hits, we can convince people of something that's not true. I'm just going to tell you, all of the people that the MAGA folks hated, NBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, New York Times, they all jumped in on this full hog, and they were like, this is it. The official word from the government has come down. And for all of you people that saw January 6th and were like, oh, they're lying to us. For all of you people that saw COVID and went, oh, they're lying to us. For all of you who lived through, like, I don't know, the last 25 years and thought that there were not WMDs in Iraq and thought they're fucking lying to us. Maybe you didn't think the vaccines were safe and effective, and so you thought, oh, they're lying to us. Or maybe you just don't even think that Oswald shot Kennedy, and maybe there was more to it. Maybe you don't believe in the moon landing. I don't care what it is. Maybe you think the earth is flat. If you think they were lying to us, and then you're like, oh, but obviously it was a black autistic guy who looks like he got Benjamin Crump, so he was an anti-Trumper, and that was always who was going to drop the bomb. And you've got the entirety of the intel apparatus, you've got the entirety of the governmental apparatus, and you've got the entirety of this media apparatus that seemed well happy to not ask any questions, and they never picked up the question of what was going on with the Blaze story. In fact, they tried to debunk it. All of them did. All of them have not even seen anything more than the shady, slim, garbage criminal complaint. Case closed.
This is what
case freaking closed.
I can speak for both of us. This is what our thing is. We're not here to dunk on the FBI. We want the truth out there, and the spin that we're getting here doesn't pass muster at all. A reasonable person, the podcast Dans of the world, would ask so many questions, and it wouldn't be a stretching credulity to ask these questions. I mean, we've thrown out a million of them today. The guy's arms are too long. How could we possibly be up there at the podium saying, job well done, we're moving on to the next things? And anybody who dares to question this, as we've been encouraging them on our prior lives and our prior professions to say, hey, don't trust me, question everything. Anybody who does that now, well, you're a problem.
They've had it the entire time. But the video appears manipulated.
appears dramatically manipulated. And I'm going to tell you why, so we put the bottom line up front, because it is the biggest political scandal the FBI is ever going to deal with, including collusion and Spygate. The FBI, I am absolutely convinced, knows the identity of the person who planted that bomb. I've told you this many times. The person who planted that bomb was definitely an insider. It was not an anti-Trump person. It was someone planting a bomb to create a narrative that crazy MAGA people are trying to assassinate Kamala Harris.
When was the moment then? You were asked at the podium, what was the moment that you were talking about? When was the moment that you realized that you were wrong on your podcast? I want to know what that moment was, and I want it fully described for us in order for me to go beyond just trust me, bro. I need facts and I need evidence, which is something that you once knew and required and demanded of your elected officials.
One more time. We're just going to play this because it's so delicious.
You know, I don't know if you remember this. This is before you became the deputy FBI director. You put a post on X right after this happened, and you said there's a massive cover-up because the person that planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it is because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or an inside job. You said that, you know, long before you were even thought of as deputy FBI director.
Yeah, that's why I said to you, this investigation's just begun. We are pretty comfortable. We have our guy. I think again, legal process starts to surface and information and facts start to come out. The public's going to be very comfortable with the investigation that was conducted under Director Patel and his leadership. He's been great on this. But I don't want to, listen, I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations on facts.
Did you hear what he said, too, by the way? He was like, this director's been great on this while he's shaking his head in the no. Some of those things are really funny if you guys go back and watch. I had to play it twice because it's such a moment to witness Sean Hannity ask a journalistic question. It's brilliant to me. Anyway, I have no faith in what they did. I have no faith in this FBI. Sadly, neither do my friends who still work there. They were like,
yeah. What do you think of that? I mean, come on. What do you think? I mean, do you buy any of that from Bongino? I mean, you're going to be very comfortable with how it turns out. Or do you think that he's just full of shit? Because I think he's full of shit. I think that he's compromised. I mean, I don't know what to think. Bongino was like this dude that look, so here's a story for you. I'm full of stories tonight. I'm just say this. It was he was doing a show on, I think it was on YouTube. It was before Rumble. It was before he got, before his radio show, before I guess it was way back. So it was before Rush Limbaugh died. I'd catch Rush and I'd watch a little bit of Bongino. Bongino was like one of the first people that I would listen to because I thought he was raw and he was real, and it was a video. Rush Limbaugh didn't always have video; sometimes it'd just be radio. So, and I really got like a lot of stuff from Bongino, and I didn't know until much later when I started watching Bannon and Alex Jones. I started watching Bannon and Alex Jones, and when I started watching Alex Jones, I had to shut everything else off because they're like 2, 3, 4 weeks late. By the time they talk about the stuff on all these different radio shows, podcasts or whatever, they're talking about stuff that we talked about on Alex Jones like a fucking month ago. So I cut all that out and started listening to Tomorrow's News Today. And, but I thought Bongino was still very solid. And I thought that he was, America first and all, and a patriot and all that stuff. And I always thought that. And then he got into this position, and I'm not the only one. Lots of people are having this same scratch in the head going, what the hell's going on here? This makes no sense. I mean, do they have his wife a hostage or something? I mean, what's going on? I mean, I don't understand. It's like, I get that the agencies are very, very powerful. I get it. I get that it just takes one flip of a switch and they can ruin your life. Look what they've done to all these people. I mean, they put people in prison for 22 years, 20 years for not even being at January 6th. So, I mean, yeah, they're pretty powerful. I get it. But when you're the director or what's his position? Deputy director of the FBI, you think that you'd have some juice, some power, and you're a personal friend to the president of the United States. You'd think that you would you'd stay in the right lane, but it seems like he's, jumped the medium and he's going down the street on the wrong side of the road with sunglasses at night. I don't know. It's just weird. So anyway, it's very odd to me. This whole thing is very odd, and it just takes me back to the black pill thing. It takes me back to like who is really in charge here, and who is everybody, all of them corrupt, and is there no hope at all? Because I go back there from time to time. So let's let me plug this in here. Let me let's get this other one here. Hold on, stand by.
And by the way, we also looked at his credit card receipts.
Making purchases to build a bomb before an election because he was politically motivated. Oh, and let me throw in the last little thing. Benjamin Crump is now representing Brian Cole Jr.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Or are you looking at the video that you saw of the of Brian Cole Sr.?
No, I saw a New York Post article that was just sent over to me that Benjamin Crump is getting involved.
So Benjamin Crump represented the father.
Okay.
You know what? At least he's got some competent representation with like a lot of money behind it, because they'll be able to bring in experts that can do this. And maybe, just maybe, we won't have the complete bullshit lie is what they're trying to put here. I talked to Baker yesterday and he was like, this is gross. I talked to former intel people. I had more than one FBI agent currently on the job suspect the same thing that you did. If you jam somebody up for child pornography, it'd be way easier to go down for dropping a bomb than it would be for the alternative. Everything about this stuff is gross. Yeah. This is like, I told you guys that we were going to find out what kind of country we lived in. I told you guys that maybe 2 weeks ago. We are finding out the country we live in is nauseatingly, disgustingly dishonest. We kind of knew that, but it's really gross to like, it's one thing to know something. You instinctively feel this way. It's like, oh, I felt that way. It's quite another to have the proof thrown in your face. And then people tell you like, we did an awesome job. We're spiking the football. It makes me sick that this is the country that we're going to be in. And I think you said the same thing yesterday.
Because I war gamed this out. And look, people call me a pessimist. I think I'm pragmatic. And I remember war gaming this out with my other pragmatist, George Hill, saying, all right, they're going to get away with it. How are they going to do it? And I did not have it on my bingo card that they would go find a autistic dude living with his mom who maybe they had some kiddie porn on. Maybe they were trying to entrap on something else. And they would just hatch this scheme 3 weeks after. I did not have that one, but they're certainly going to try. Before any of this came out yesterday, we were already at a place of concern where it was, well, now we have definitive proof. We have the Reichstag fire proof that our government engaged in this put-up job, and it is not being addressed. It's just kind of being shrugged off. It's, that gate analysis that we use to smoke terrorists overseas, that's not really reliable. Okay. But now it gets worse because the Shawnee Kirkhoffs are not only going to get away with it, but everybody who is connected with this, because it wasn't limited to her. She didn't go out with that gusto. I mean, if she did, she's a woman who has the biggest balls of all time to like walk around Washington, D.C. doing this, unless she knew she had the blanket of coverage through politicians and bureaucrats across multiple levels and layers of our bureaucracy in the executive and legislative branch. And they're all going to walk away with it. And they're going to high five and backslap and helmet sticker about jamming up some dude who doesn't even look like the person on the grainy video, because his arms are so long that he can tie his shoes without bending over. But we're now going to be led to believe that, yep, it was a lone wolf, nothing there. Let's just move on. It'll be yet another thing. And it's going into Christmas. Then we're going to have to talk about the midterm elections. And we're so back and we're so base. And it causes guys like you and me who are actually interested in the welfare of the country, who are interested in the prime directive. We're all supposed to have this social compact where we elect our government that's supposed to do very finite amount of things for us and then just leave us the hell alone. that is now a thing of the past. And it's to a point now where, we're intellectual in the intellectual battle space, and we can throw these ideas out there. My concern is that somebody out there who's not as reserved as we are to actually limit our emotional outbursts to the rhetoric is going to say, well, they're all broken and my life sucks. So why don't I just drop something that's more viable than what Shawnee Kirkhoff did?
I sent this over to one of the neighbors of Brian Cole, and it said it was the exact piece from the New York Post, which I think the New York Post had the appropriate amount of skepticism, probably because they've actually seen these pictures. Quote, that guy I know who walks the dog is pretty short and has real short legs, like uncommonly short legs. That's a really funny and specific thing to hone in on as a neighbor. I would think that gait analysis would be pretty easy to rule him out or confirm him because his legs are, I would say, uncommonly short. Honing in on that again. Sent that over to one of the other neighbors living in that neighborhood and got this back. That's the first thing my wife said when she saw the video clips and said, quote, he doesn't walk like that. She's seen him walk their little dog literally hundreds of times over the last years. So did they not realize that they were going to have credible, competent people and that someone has actually seen this? How much, if you are living in that area and you have ring cam footage of this guy, please preserve it. Please save it. Upload it if you want. We'll put it into the gait analysis, folks. The funny thing is that the high-level gait analysis that work on behalf of the intelligence agencies, they've been warned off not to go and talk to anybody unless they are asked by law enforcement. And guess who's not asking?
The police aren't asking. The FBI isn't asking. Nobody's asking about that. So every single thing that we've been told is a fucking lie. Okay? It's all a lie. And I told myself that I was going to do a better job with the cussing and F-bombs and stuff. I really want to clean that up about the show. And there's times for it and there's times not for it. And so why do we not know who the second shooter was in Butler? I don't know. You think Trump would want to know who shot him? Because we know that the people in the back row of the bleachers were shot from a different gun than the one that was being shot from the roof. We know this. I mean, we've proved it. We've shown it. We've proved it. We've played the videos. We played the videos every other day for 3 months about all the different angles and all the, 1 shooter, 2 shooter, 3 shooter, all that. We did all that, right? But why was the FBI rinsing off the roof the next day? I mean, these things don't make sense. And then Trump's not like, hey, well, I want to know who took the shot. I want to know what really happened at Butler. You would think, look at Charlie Kirk. They're burying it. They're hiding it. They're not telling us the truth. They have not told us one thing that makes sense yet. Not one. Not even halfway. Not even a third of the way. I mean, it's crazy. Trump's talking about how our financial markets our economy is so good. Really not. I mean, gas has been a fuel. Gasoline has came down $1, so I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But it always goes down in the winter. It goes up in the summer and it comes down in the winter. So I don't know. I know that gold and silver is going through the roof. I know that there's this big push for crypto. I know that's going on, which is probably pumped by by Trump's family, because I know that Trump's kids have all that Bitcoin thing going, and they're talking about making the Bitcoin the new currency. So, I mean, you might want to look out for that. I mean, that's something that you might want to know about. I just heard a bang. So I was just checking to make sure I still had juice here. There's just a lot of things that that just don't make sense. There's so many things that don't make sense. How come all these Democrats have done all this corruption We've caught them in the act. Let's just talk about what's it called? USAID. Elon Musk proved that there was corruption and how all those places were basically stealing money, and not one person went to jail that I know of. I mean, maybe behind the scenes, some low level people have been arrested for that stuff. I don't know. I mean, they don't talk about it, but nobody that let's talk about Pelosi. Pelosi has made millions, maybe even billions of dollars with stock trading. You know, it's illegal. I'm just curious. What was her name? The hell was her? Martha Stewart. She went to prison for insider trading when she was trading stocks and got caught or whatever it was. She went to prison. But all these politicians, they walk on water. They get away with anything. Look at all the shit that's happened. Look at all the corruption. I mean, we could go on and we could spend 10 hours talking about all the corruption within just the Democratic Party. That's before we would get to the Republican Party that's doing the same thing, right? Look at all the fraud. We know that they stole the 2020 election. Not just that it's a conspiracy theory that they stole the election, but they've proven it, and they've proven how they've done it, all the different ways, the ballots, the illegal ballots, the machines, what's it called? Ballot harvesting in states that it's illegal to ballot harvest, all these different things, illegal voting, illegal voters, fake ballots, fake people. We've proven it all over the last 4, 5, 6 years. We've proven all that stuff, how it happened, how they did it, and nobody's went to jail. I mean, a few low level people who went to jail. But like the people that should be in jail, not even close. Like, do you think Zuckerbuck should be in prison for $400 million that he gave to the Democratic Party to ballot harvest? I'm just curious. All those drop boxes all over the United States were paid for by Zuckerberg. I didn't know if you knew that. I mean, there's just a lot of things. So when they're talking about how this doesn't make sense and how they're going to put a patsy in there or a fall guy or whatever you want to call it because Baker came out last week and said they had what's it called, Capitol police officer that's also CIA, that was the one that put the pipe bombs in. They said that they had verifiable proof, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it wasn't her. It wasn't her. Oh, that's not real. That's fake. And then the media runs with it. All the alternative media starts running with it, talking about how it's not real. Oh, it was wrong. And then the Blaze comes out and retracts their statement. Just what the hell is going on here? Like, can we get just one person to tell us the truth one time? I don't think we can get that. I don't think we can, be honest with you. I don't think we can get anybody to tell us the truth anymore. I think that we're past that. I think the next thing that happens is civil war or something, or some revolution or something like that. Let's keep going. We got more. We're not done. Let's get into this.
Who would have known a 1980s classic, Back to the Future, with Michael J. Fox, has been brought back, remade to the new screen. They just brought back The Running Man. Talk about fake news. By the way, I watched it. Excellent film. Wow, they have remade it with Brian Cole. Back to the Future. Turns out a year before the election, he was building pipe bombs because the election was stolen in their indictment. This is incredible. Here's the trailer for the new movie.
Steven Spielberg presents Back to the Future, a Robert Zemeckis film. Marty leads an ordinary life.
No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley. Well, history is going to change.
And 1985 is not his year. But Dr. Brown is about to change all that.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
He's sending Marty 30 years back in time.
It's a flying saucer from outer space.
Now he's trapped in the past.
It's gotta be a dream.
About to meet
Chocolate.
his future father.
He's a peeping Tom. Wow!
And he's making an impression on his mother.
He's an absolute dream. And he can sleep in my room.
Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events.
Now he's got to make his mother and father fall in love.
For crying out loud, I haven't even been born yet.
And only Dr. Brown can help him get back to the future.
Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear? Precisely.
Michael J. Fox.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Christopher Lloyd.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Back to the future. You know what I'm? So if they're saying the evidence is from 6-7 months before the election, that he's now mad when it wasn't even a controversy until November leading through, then this guy is the real time traveler from Back to the Future. Like he has the DeLorean. So the real
88.8 miles an hour at some point in time in order to be able to do this.
Okay. So what's going on at the FBI that they would cook up something this ridiculous?
The only thing, if you assume, and at this point, I don't agree with this assumption, but let's assume that Cash and Dan are good faith actors, okay? Let's just make that assumption. Then we have to take a nice picture. We have to take a look at the actual agents that put forth this evidence together and then step that through. But when you ask these questions during the press conference, Cash is the first one to say, oh, that's a great question. You're a great investigative journalist. There's a lot of interest in this particular case, but we're not going to be able to tell you. Trust me, bro. We're going to get to it at some point in time.
Remember what he said on Joe Rogan?
What are
He
you
said,
talking about?
trust me, I'm a good guy. And he said it on Fox All. He goes, listen, there is nobody helping crooks. Listen, I was told by the agents I was briefed. You believe an agency that has a longer nose than Pinocchio?
Yeah. You can't believe the agents. I don't believe anybody until you show me the evidence. Show me the math, right? Here's the answer. Believe me that it's ridiculous.
But let's go back to this. He's at a Home Depot in March. He's the bomber when the election hadn't even happened. That is insane.
Right when the lockdowns happened, he must have just forecasted purchasing devices and then thinking through it. His autistic abilities were just so immaculate to forecast the future.
And you said March. I'm now reading the indictment. They're claiming he was planning the bombings in 2019 for the stolen election.
Yes.
So this guy is literally Nostradamus.
Apparently. I mean, this guy needs to be hired by, I don't know, our intelligence community to forecast everything. I mean, this is a superb analyst and just God level chess, like you say.
Yeah. So when you Back to the Future. So when you look at all the, and this is tomorrow, we're going to cover a lot more of this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing shorter shows more often, and we've done that. Last week we had Thanksgiving and stuff, so I had to we're busy doing save the world stuff, but we're going to start doing more shows more often. So we're just going to do, and then that way I can spend more time on a topic instead of having 35 clips and 10 different topics and attempting to squeeze it all into 2 hours. And so we're just going to do it a little different. Okay. Just for just little programming notes for everybody. So when you think about this, when you think about all the stuff that you just heard, which is these are little snippets of all the information that is out there already. It's been 48 hours, maybe 50 hours, whatever, a couple days. And this is where we're at. And you have all MSN, all the mainstream media, dinosaur media, all saying that this guy is the guy. And then you have all these what do we call them? What do we want to call them today? We're going to call them MAGA. We're going to call them MAGA because I mean I'm coming to the fork in the road where you're either America first or you're not, and everything else is just fake. That's where I'm at right now. So anyway, you have all this stuff coming out about people that would normally say question everything, going with the, oh yeah, this is the guy they've known this black guy's been the bomber for 5 years and they were hiding it and all this stuff. It's like, come on. Urkel, pipe bomb, he was able to hide it for 5 years. I mean, it just none of it makes sense to me. So we're gonna dig into this a little bit deeper. I wanted to kind of what do you call it? Start chipping the ice away from this a little bit at a time and see what we can come up with. And if you have any information, if you see something that I haven't seen, let me put this up here. I'll put my email. This is my direct email right there on the screen. If you have any information for me, please email me to john@inspectorweb.com. That's my website. That's my email. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And I would really appreciate anybody's help. Clips, articles, information. Maybe you're from that neighborhood and you have ring camera footage, any of that stuff. I would be super grateful for that. That would be all right. I mean, that would be great. Because think about it, we're all in this together. You're either part of the solution or you're the problem. There's no middle ground anymore. You're either you want truth or you're in a lollipop land kids time zone where everything's fake and gay. Because it just seems like so many things are just not real. I mean, it's almost like we're in Twilight Zone. Remember that do 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 do? That's my. I think my bumper music needs when I start doing my ads. When I come in with my ads, I think I'm going to use the Twilight Zone for bumper music. By the way, at the bottom of in the show notes, check out the what's it called? It's called Cyber Monday, up to 70% off on My Patriot Supply right now. Everybody else, it's all ended tonight, but I got a extension till the 8th. So if maybe you need to get a water filter for your brother, your cousin, your uncle, or your whatever, all that stuff is up to 70% off right now. There'll be a link in the description on I'll put it on Rumble here in a minute. When I play this next clip, I'll go in and I'll add it to it. I forgot to add that and you just click it in your ear in. It'd be great. So speaking of faking gay, we have this stuff going on with Candace Owens and everybody saying that she's gone crazy. I've watched her stuff and I've paid close attention to it, and everything that she's talking about makes complete sense to me. So maybe I need psychotropic medication as well. Maybe I'm crazy as well because listen, you look at this stuff and it's clear. You go as far back as you want or as far forward as you want, and it all says the same thing. They're lying to us. Nothing's real. Nothing's real. It's crazy. It's so crazy. So, um, let me see, where do I want to start here? Because I remember at the last minute here, I want to remember which way I want to go with this. All right. Okay, so we're going to do the response first, and then we're going to go through all these. I have 5 clips with Candace and Charlie and all this stuff. We're going to get to these right now. Let's start right here with TPUSA said that after all this back and forth stuff was going on, they said that they would have Candace on the show and answer all the questions that she has because she's made some borderline accusations about what's going on, who killed Charlie Kirk, how come none of the information's coming out, and why are you guys lying to us, and why, all this stuff. So they said that they would allow her to to come, and they would have a live stream, and they would go over it, and they would answer all the questions. And then they put out this text, or what's it called, a tweet at midnight, and said that she had 24 hours to respond to, not to, hey, does this any of these times work, but when we're going to do it on the 15th at 2 p.m. Not what day works best for you or something like that. They just told her when it is and how it's going to be. And, so there's controversy going on with that. And, it's all over the internet. People are crazy. So let's get into this right here. Hold on, my system locked up again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It must be something with my system doing that, because I bet you my internet's not strong enough, because that happens sometimes. Anyway, stand by.
After my episode yesterday, I expected, call me crazy, I expected that Turning Point would reach out to me via text, via email, that they would instantly follow up with their long diatribe and be sincere and say, okay, here are some dates and some times. When would you like to make this happen? We're going to set up this great debate. Rather, instead of hearing anything from Turning Point, I heard from Skylar, my executive producer, this morning via text, which I'm going to show you, that I was somehow already 9 hours into a 24-hour countdown that was issued by Turning Point USA. Here is that text exchange with Skylar this morning. He 8:49 said, "I'm sure you saw this." And I responded to him and I said, "No, actually, I didn't see this." And I opened the tweet, which went out from Blake Neff around midnight last night. And here's what he wrote. I'm like, how am I supposed to see this? The live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set. That would imply to the audiences that they reached out to me and we set a time. No, he goes on, at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th, a collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest. Now, if it's going to be once and for all, it sounds pretty final. I mean, I would assume that I would have to contribute so that I could answer back, right? He goes on to write, we'll be live streaming, as he said from the beginning. This is going to be a live streamed event from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of today. Why? Well, I'm sorry. If you're saying this is happening on the 15th, why am I getting 24 hours to be able to respond to you? That doesn't make any sense. That, for some reason, feels like this is a BS offer and a really cheap PR move. There's no reason to issue a 24-hour response and to put this up in the middle of the night, A. B, there's no reason you didn't reach out to me and say, hey, does this work? Can I check some flights, see if I can get in there? Nope. This is it. They put this up there on the 15th. The last week of our show is live. Obviously, leading up to Christmas, that's the last week of our show. Obviously, it's a pretty busy week. So I'm like, okay, caught off guard by this, but you know what? I sense this is a PR move. So let me say, you've already said it's live streamed. If an event is live streamed, of course, we can make it work any place. I mean, at any time, any day, we can make this happen, right? Because you're live streaming it. There's no reason I can't show up electronically, okay? I respond to him and I say this, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and instead chose to tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Why am I learning about this on X? December 15th does not work in person, and 2 p.m. happens to also be the literal time that I do my podcast live every day, which you knew. but we will happily cancel the daily podcast and we'll join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th. If that works on your end, let's lock it in, question mark. Okay. Okay, we're jumping here. Let's just make it happen. Okay. That's the beauty of the internet. That is the beauty of 2025. You can literally be any place, anytime. Just send me a link, right? Any place, anytime, and we can join you virtually. In fact, today on their show, they had Andrew Colbert joining them virtually. So they have the tech capability to do this. We have tech capability to do this. Let's make this sincere and do this for people around the world who do not feel that you guys have been honest and forthcoming in terms of answers that you could obviously supply regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Well, if we needed any more evidence that nothing that they do is genuine and that this was an obvious planned PR move, here is what Blake tweeted out just now before we went live on the show. Yesterday, we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to allegations and accusations that you have made. We have decided that that response will be delivered during a live stream, as he said, a live stream on December 15th. Thank you for your response, letting us know that you will not be joining the in-person conversation. We will be proceeding without you. Why are you proceeding without me? To have a conversation that is about me. Why am I getting 24 hours to respond? Why do you need me there in person if you are trying to be sincere and answer the very many questions that I have brought up on this show? You guys weren't even sincere in what you said yesterday. You told some glaring lies about things that I have said. So we're supposed to trust that you guys are going to handle this discussion all by yourselves and respond to any and every allegation. And this isn't just some planned PR for once and for all. Like I said, this is so obvious. He is being completely destroyed in the comments because what's happening at Turning Point, and I've seen this happen before, is they now believe that they are smarter than their audience, right? They think they are smarter than their small pocket donors. They can pull such an obviously crappy public move like this and pretend, well, we tried. You know, she said she could make it work and we tried, but it has to be physically, she needs to be in person, even though we have shown that we have people join us not in person and it's live streamed and we both have the tech abilities to do that. If she doesn't make this work within 24 hours, we can now say that this is a disaster, okay? It is a dumpster fire. That's the only way to describe what is happening at Turning Point USA today and right now is a dumpster fire. Everyone can read this for what it is. As I said, they are getting destroyed in the comments. Like, really, guys? Really? You're not going to just send us a simple live stream link and let us join you? We've had people on this show live streamed. We could have them tomorrow. I said, in response, I said to them, I'll make this work. I also attached to that tweet any day leading up to the 15th. We can do this virtually any place and any time. But no, they need to have it in person in Phoenix on December 15th or they cannot.
Yep. So December 15th is the day, and they're saying that it has to be in person or it can't be when, I mean, that is, I guess it's a prerogative, but that's just bullshit. The whole way that went down is bullshit. So let's listen to, I mean, the whole thing, when you think about it, it's ridiculous. It's like you want to come out and you want to be honest and you want to, clear it up with the whole world because everybody's watching this. It's not just Candace Owens. It's all of us. We all want to know what happened to Charlie. We want to know all the things that they've lied about. Candace made a good point last week. Whenever it was, it might have been earlier this week. Why would you take the SD card out of a $2,500 camera, $3,000 camera, and leave the camera hanging, but just take the SD card? If you're worried about people stealing, it don't make sense. Anyway, I'm just saying. I don't know. Let's get into this. So we're gonna do a flashback first. I want to do and then let's do this one first. We're gonna do a couple flashbacks of Charlie and Candace. I think it's, for context, it's probably pretty good because there's also people saying that Charlie cut her loose and that they're not friends and all that stuff, but they were still tight. She was supposed to be coming back on tour with him um, which would have happened. I think they're doing that on the 15th, actually. Stand by.
28, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest, retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason?
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight, and we don't care about your stupid midterms. We just don't care. Like, they really, this is how they view Charlie Kirk. That's why I say, was anything in his life real? Tim Poole is going off right now because he's like, it's not the time. You guys need to be mules. You need to keep voting in the very corrupt people that are lying to your faces right now about what happened to Charlie Kirk. It is not the time because it is your job to get people into office. This is what I mean when I suggest that nothing in Charlie Kirk's life was real. So he really thinks he's doing something there. And actually what he's doing is proving my point. These people just saw Charlie as a means to an end, okay? As a political horse that they could ride. And so for whatever reason, they got tired riding him. And now they're angry because they also were going to whip the horse, the ghost of Charlie Kirk, and say, we still need you to shore up votes. And it is inconvenient that people who actually cared about Charlie and saw him as a, I don't know, human being, want to know why he was publicly executed in front of us and why we're being lied to about everything. That is why Tim Poole is upset, because midterms, it's going to be my fault, not the fault of the feds for feeding us BS. It's not going to be the fault of Turning Point USA for lying and thinking that they're brighter than us and seemingly not caring about the investigation. It's not going to be the fault of, I don't know, maybe actual politicians like Donald Trump, who's a president of the United States, and look us in the face and said, are we still talking about the Epstein files? No, that's not his fault. The fault is Candace Owens for wanting to figure out who murdered her friend. Don't you guys get it? Like, we're just an algorithm. Why do you care so much about humans? Like, why are you a human? Like, if somebody in your family dies, you need to focus on midterms. Okay? That is the point of a Tim Poole show. It doesn't matter what you are going through at home. I want you guys to hear this, okay? I don't care if you have family members that are dying, family members who have died, if you have children that you care about and maybe don't want to live in a world that's run by pedophiles. You need to put that all aside and vote for whoever the hell Tim Poole tells you to vote for. I just want to platform that idea. I think obviously there's something wrong with me, and Tim Poole's got it figured out. His soul seems like it's really intact and it's not for sale at all. Anyways, we'll take a quick break.
Yeah, so I wanted to play those two, especially because of all the controversy that's going on. And you have to tell me if you think that Candace, I've shown you two clips. I've shown you the response to TPUSA, and I've shown you the one where she roasts Tim Poole. Does she look to you or sound to you that she's off her rocker and crazy and speaking in loops and whatever? Because she doesn't to me. And what she's saying makes sense to me. We shouldn't vote any more corrupt politicians in office, period. Because if they're just going to burn it down anyway, why would we vote anybody in? That's my point. Like, if they're all corrupt and they're all only thinking about themselves, doesn't matter who you put in office at this point, exception, Donald Trump is the exception. Some of the people in his cabinet are the exception. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. I mean, there are a few that are worth every penny that was spent getting them in office. Absolutely. But think about it. If you're putting in people like Lindsey Graham, and all that he does is sends money to Israel or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not on the Israel boat. I could care less about any of that shit. Only care about America. But my point is, if all they do is spend our money in all these foreign wars and all this stuff and all these things and spending, doing all this corruption and, constantly trying to throw Trump under the bus and all this stuff, why are we voting for him? They have great aspirations when they're running for office, but then when they get in, they flip and they get compromised, and then they vote, all this ridiculous stuff in. I don't know. Just saying. Anyway, that's my point. That is my point. Stand by. Let's get into these. I'm gonna play 3 for you. We're gonna wrap this up here. Stand by.
First question, this is actually really funny.
Okay.
Who is the better driver?
Okay, hold on a second.
No. I'm going to answer this question. Actually, Charlie Kirk never lets me drive, so
This is
maybe he's
correct.
sexist. He never
This
lets
is
me
very
drive,
correct.
and he's a horrible driver on top of it.
Hold on, I'm very, very good. Zero car
He
accidents.
never lets me drive.
I'm very benevolent, okay? This is my argument. I care so much for Candace Owens. I want her to be able to tweet uninterrupted of traffic patterns.
Ooh, nice spin. That's a very nice spin.
This is the spin stops here, okay? And I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, every time, it's not even a question. I just go right into the driver's seat.
He doesn't even ask me. I'm like, Charlie, I could drive. He's like, no. You're a woman.
No, because well, it's no. I want to be very clear about this.
Bub, he's never
I want to be
seen me
very
drive
clear.
bus.
I don't know if she's a good driver or a bad driver. I would never make that prejudice whatsoever. Instead, it is a man's role to protect the woman, right?
Does it ever drive you crazy? Just how fast the night changes everything that you've ever dreamed of, disappearing when you wake up. But there's nothing to be afraid of, even when at night.
When we look at our immigration policies, it does not, the legal-illegal distinction mattered previously. Now the more important distinction, since there's no more illegal immigration, how many people came across illegally last month? 0. That conversation is over. That's awesome. The more important distinction is, are you an immigrant that will kiss the ground when you enter America? Or will you be an immigrant that goes to war against the American people when you come to America? That is the distinction. And there is a commonality there. And this is where I get in a lot of trouble. That's why I have to have bodyguards. It's so fun. I am one of the unique and only people in America that has death threats from 2 different types of jihadis. Islamist jihadis and purple-haired jihadis that call themselves trans activists. It's pretty interesting. I get the death threats from both sides. Everybody. So what does this mean for our nation and for our country? As Siggy beautifully put it, this is a fight for who we are as Americans. The fight is ongoing. And when you have an ideology or a worldview that it metastasizes, like Islam, we need to now take a step back and ask ourselves the question, is this best for us? Let's look at other nations that have done this. I went to London back in May. If you have not visited Europe recently, it is an unrecognizable continent. It is unrecognizable. And that is not because we don't hate the individual people. You see, there can be individual good Muslims. We all know them. We run into them. They're fine. They're charitable. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the macro system. When you have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, because we in the West, we believe in 3 things that Muslims do not believe in when all the chips are down. Number 1, freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of speech. It is our birthright. And without freedom of speech, Donald Trump would not have become president once or become president again. To be able to challenge authority, to be able to speak our mind. In Islam, if you question the Prophet Muhammad, you could be put in prison or sentenced to death. The second value, which is very important, freedom of worship. We believe that you should be able to worship the Creator in your liking, whether it be a synagogue or a church, whether it be a parish. In Islam, they believe that the mosque is superior towards any other religious liberty. Religious liberty is an unknown concept. And the third and the most important thing, we in the West, we believe that there should be some, I think we have too much, but some separation between our religious institutions and our governmental institutions. We believe in some separation, and I don't love the term because it's actually not totally constitutional, but the spirit of it is right, of quote-unquote church and state. Muslims believe in no separation between mosque and state. They believe in the merge of mosque and state. So here you have a foreign ideology that comes to the United States of America, and there's no assimilating. Are you trying to tell me that Ilhan Omar has assimilated to the United States of America, that Rashida Tlaib has assimilated to the United States of America. There's a town in New Jersey that just came out, and they said, we are the little Palestine. What was the name of that town, Siggy? Patterson, New Jersey. And am I right? Siggy, they said, we are the little Palestine in New Jersey. So we need to take a step back and say, what is actually going on here? The same way that President Trump woke us all up back in 2015 when we went down the Golden Escalator. The biggest fight in front of us, she said the biggest, because there's about 10 huge fights, but one of the biggest fights in front of us is who are we welcoming in? What are they doing? And will we go the way of Europe? Because if you tell me right now that the mayor of New York City is going to be a 33-year-old Muslim socialist, and the mayor of London will be another Muslim socialist, Sadiq Khan. Those are the two major financial power centers of the West that will both be controlled by Islamists. And
if something happens to me, really what I want to say to all of you guys is go Max. Like, all of you, everyone. Let it never end. Let it never stop. Like, you be just as bold. I am telling you, it feels like when we are here on Earth, that this is it. Like, we just get 80 years. That is not true, okay? Your ancestors knew that there was more. We are in this simulation where they have intentionally turned us into a godless society because they want you to be fearful and they want you to exchange your soul because they are of this earthly realm. You know what I mean? These are Satan's children. Obviously, these are Satan's children. And they work by making you feel fearful. And so you trade off and you go, okay, well, I just want to have money and be comfortable in this life right now. And so I'm willing to let badness happen. And I guess my kids are just going to inherit that badness, and this world is just going to be run by pedophiles. And we can't do that. And that's why I say to you guys, you should be going Max right now, you know? Yeah, you have to say the truth. The frequency of truth hits harder. And we hear these demons squealing. We just hear it. Like, you can feel it right now. And yeah, they are dangerous. They are dangerous. But the truth will win. And the truth is more powerful than the lie.
Yeah. So, so true. And, the reason why she said that if something happens to me, happens to her, go Max, because, she has death threats against her. And of course, on the internet, everybody's saying that, oh, that's not true. That's a lie. She showed the letter that came from the French whistleblower. She showed the letter. So, anyway, I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to get too caught up into it, but anytime there's a death threat, you need to take it serious, period. And it sounds like she's got some death threats from Macron, whatever his name is. So I don't know. Anyway, Trump gets FIFA Peace Prize. Check it out.
FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, awards the 2025 FIFA Peace Prize, Football Unites the World, to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in recognition of his exceptional and extraordinary actions to promote peace and unity around the world. Friday, December 5th, 2025. This is the certificate. It's yours.
Thank you very much. This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, John and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives.
FIFA. That's pretty cool. I don't know about that particular Peace Prize, if that's a world-renowned Peace Prize or what, I'm not sure, but that's pretty cool that the work that he's done, just, he's killed 8 wars. So, he really does deserve it. And, if I'm sure that if he could ever get rid of the Russia war, good things could happen for our country. But, I don't know. It sounds like Russia and Ukraine are just not going to give up the gun. So they're going to just keep fighting. So that's just the way that goes. We got one more story. I'm just going to play the headline real quick. It's a news report about this 9/11 92,000 pounds of drugs and guns. I went way later than I thought I was going to go, but hey, you know, I'm learning how to condense this a little bit. So, anyway, stand by.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and I'm standing here with Palm Bay Chief Agello. We're going to give you a breakdown on a case that our agencies worked today along with DEA, ATF, other federal task force members. I'm going to start out by saying what you see lying on the table in front of us with all the guns. A lot of these weapons are automatic weapons. We'll get into some of the meat and potatoes of this in just a second. But what's even more concerning, the boxes that you see behind us, and I'm going to step out of the way where you can take a good look at them. All of these boxes contain, and this is just half of it, by the way, it goes all the way back, contain 92,000 pounds of a extracted substance that's taken out of kratom, the substance kratom, taken out of kratom, and it makes it what's called 7-0, which recently the Florida legislature did an emergency bill to make 7-0 illegal here in the state of Florida. Maxwell Horvath is who we have in custody for this. Chief, I know you've got the briefing as well as I have. Search warrant earlier this morning. Our team went out, as I said, agents from all the different agencies involved, feds and local law enforcement, working on this. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Maxwell Horvath, and then the chief's going to talk about some of the things that he had inside. 26 years old. In 2017, now remember, he's just 26 years old. In 2017, he served 2 years in federal prison for possession of an explosive device, trafficking in MDMA. He got 2 years of federal probation. Well, he's got a lot more coming now, including pending federal indictments that are coming on him. Chief, if you'll talk a little bit about the explosive stuff they found in the warehouse.
I appreciate it. You know, great collaboration, as you mentioned, by all agencies and departments involved. But yeah, so for example, improvised explosive devices, 5 IEDs were located on this property where the warrant was initiated at. Not to mention grenade simulators and 50 pounds of precursor chemicals to make explosives. So we're not just talking about drugs. We're not just talking about illegal substances out in the streets. We're talking about explosive devices, things that the military are utilizing and other countries are utilizing all over the world to take out populations of people. I said, this is
terrorist activities across the board. When you look at the explosive devices, as the chief said, 50 pounds. In addition to that, I'm going to read it off. 12 rifles, 1 short-barreled rifle, 17 pistols, 3 shotguns, 1 revolver, 2 fully automatic submachine guns, 3 suppressors, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. And then, as I said, on top of that, 92,000 pounds. From everything that we can tell from our federal partners, this is the largest seizure of this kind in the country. Nobody's ever been able to do this. As I said, Florida recently passed an emergency law making the 7-0 substance, the derivative of the kratom, making it illegal. The best part of this is Horvath knows it's illegal, but thinks he's circumventing the system. He actually runs a business called Overseas Organics. And he thinks that because you go there and make a purchase, or you make a purchase online and he ships it out of the state of Florida, he's not violating the law. Well, trick or treat. He is. Not only is he violating the law for that, but all the weapons, all the explosive devices, everything else that he has is going to land him in prison for the rest of his life. Now, back in September, our agents worked together, made buys from Horvath. He actually even gave him a tour of his business. I mean, he's proud of his business. And you're seeing in some of the film that we're rolling now for you, the business. This thing looked like Breaking Bad on steroids is what it looked like. He had it lined up with all sorts of different chambers and rooms and sterile environments, everything else. And they were taking it, extracting it, putting it in compressing machines. As I said, his company would ship it out. And he would, even if you went there and made the purchase, he would tell you he's got to ship it to somebody in another state, because that way he thought it made it legal. Well, it didn't. All right. And he's in custody. We're still putting all the charges on him. I can tell you right now, he's going to have automatically 36 counts possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 1 count possession of short-barreled rifle, 2 counts possession of short-barreled machine gun, and then more charges coming for the explosive. So
yeah, Sheriff, it's like you said, 26 years old, already pretty much a career offender. Started at the age of 17, federal charges, federal indictments. He has no regard for the sanctity of life. And great job by your folks, man. It was great collaboration.
Yeah, great job by our agents, our local partners, our federal partners. Folks, this is what danger looks like right here. Everything that you see behind us, everything you see in front of us is a red flag for disaster. It is. I mean, you look, the guy was making his own suppressors, fully automatic weapons, explosive devices. This guy was either looking to engage war or looking to arm those and furnish to those that are. And you see, even had, as you can see in the video, even had a 50 cal on a tripod, ready to do serious damage. So he's locked up. He's in Ivy's Iron Bar Lodge. He's going to stay there. As I said, he's got pending federal indictments. Those indictments will make sure that he spends the rest of his life right where he deserves, and that's in prison. But great job by all of our team. 92,000 pounds of this synthetic substance. So great job. We'll get you more information as this thing continues, but I just wanted to get this out to everybody so that they can see the great work our team's doing and also know that this individual's off the streets and locked behind bars.
Yeah, and so I don't know what that 7-0 is. I've never heard of it. So I'm gonna do some research and find out what exactly that is. The kratom, I've known lots of people that take the kratom in lieu of pharmaceuticals. I know that, but I don't know what the 7-0 is. I've never heard of it. So I'm gonna check that out, find out what I can find out. Thank you for being here tonight. Still working on some stuff around here, but we're doing the best we can to get get the show to where it's to the point, and we're doing it. So please go to the comment section or in the description and check out My Patriot Supply. Please support us. Your support is greatly appreciated. It helps us to, we're hiring reporters and show hosts, and we're working on having more hosts than just me in here, and it takes money to do that. So thank you. God bless you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. It sounds like it's going to be 9 p.m. tomorrow night. We'll be back for Saturday night broadcast.